Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows, where we talk the talk and we walk the walk. Football Friday. Let's go, people. We got everything needed for a massive weekend of football. Yanni's going to get us started with the Steam Report. Teddy Covers is going to talk USC, Oregon, Colts, Chiefs, and we're going to do Sell Me. And we got a surprise coming up for all you fine folks when we do Sell Me this week. Marco's going to join us, talk Eagles, Cowboys, Pitt, Georgia Tech. He's going to give us our sauce of the week. Then Dan is going to jump in, and we are going to do our Super Contest Pick 5 segment at the end. Buckle up, guys. Huge weekend of sports. We got free plays and all around the world. Let's get going. Hit the like button. Please boost this algorithm. We had a great show. Yanni, let's bring in Yanni. Yanni, we talked yesterday, like, how big is the difference between C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills? Turns out
not much at all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I felt, and that's why I was on a 4% on Houston. I just thought that the drop off just wasn't warranted.
Let's go. Great call. I was just telling Dan, I'm mad I didn't use him in the Super Contest. I just felt that was a really obvious spot. Dan just said what they're 11. Bills are 11-12 on the road in the last 23 games. So great call for you. All right, let's talk Steam Report here. Huge Friday, big Saturday, big Sunday. What are you seeing right now? Let's start with what sport you want to start with?
College football?
College football. Let's do it.
Why not? Let's jump into some college football. Now, we have 2 games tonight, 2 primetime games. I have a package up, 2 4% in there already. Again, you know how we're doing in college football. Early game, Florida State, NC State. Surprisingly, even though you're seeing the Florida State at -6, even some juice there, public money's coming in opposite. They're taking the points with NC State, at least early on. Again, this one opened 5, went to 5.5, went to 6, went as high as 6.5. This morning, that's when you saw some take back at 6.5. So they didn't wait to get 7 on NC State. So it seems like 6, and that's why some of the sharper shops are putting juice. So obviously some sharp money early on Florida State. Hawaii, UNLV, this line is sitting right where it opened. Some shops opened 3.5, but that got taken out immediately. And we've been looking at 3 across the board, some 2.5s also, as another primetime game where the dog's getting a little more love than the favorite. So not too much risk. And this is a good spot to be a bookmaker because they're getting good two-way action and the line's not moving significantly. So they're not going to get middled and they could pretty much just sweep up that vig. Unless the betting syndicates come in and take a huge position, you probably won't see too big of a line movement on either of these 2 games tonight. That's not the case tomorrow. Real quickly, let's go over some of the more one-sided steam moves in college football where I haven't seen resistance, haven't seen take back. Instead, we're seeing follow through and piggybackers as well. Real quickly, 119 Rutgers over that number 1 team, Ohio State. They took them at 33. They took them at 32 as well. Old Dominion, that just keeps getting bet. 10, 10.5, 11 against Georgia Southern. Another real popular bet, Michigan. Steam, multiple groups, laid the 12, laid the 13, came back, laid 13.5 against Maryland. Under the radar game, they laid 26 and 27 and 27.5 on Toledo against Ball State. Mizzou against Oklahoma. Dude, this one's down to 6.5. I was so surprised this morning. 9.5 they took out, 9 they took out, 8.5 they took out, 8 they took out, 7.5 they took out, 7 they took out. They took out the 7s, and that's why you're looking at 6.5 now. And you got to remember, the books are in a tough spot when they keeps getting limit bets like that. Like, you don't want to over move, like move a whole point, 1.5, and then get middled. So they're doing half-point increments instead because it's around that, near that key number. And because of that, they were just getting hit limit. So a lot of love on Mizzou. My power rating showed Oklahoma was actually undervalued at under a touchdown. So we'll see. Arkansas +10, +9.5 against Texas. Louisville against SMU. They took out the 3.5, but more importantly, they took out the +3 also on Louisville. Wisconsin, Illinois. I want to bring this up because I used Wisconsin on Bet on it. We took Wisconsin at 9.5, took Wisconsin at 9, 8.5, and 8. I saw Illinois money come in, though, yesterday at -7.5. So they didn't wait for Illinois to get down to 7. At 7.5, you saw another group come in and take the Illinois side. So that's a difference of opinion on Wisconsin and Illinois. LSU, one-sided. Wise guys and the public, lane 21.5, 22, 22.5. And finally, late game, New Mexico, bringing it up because they laid the key number 3. They laid the 2, laid the 2.5, then laid the 3 as well against Air Force. That's some of the college football steam for you. And also Oregon at 9.5, bringing that up because that's also one-sided from the public. They're also betting Oregon. So there's some of that college football info for you. Don't forget, last call tomorrow on Saturday, and I will be releasing the first 5% in college football in a long time. This is only the 5th 5% this entire season, and I've been sitting at number 1 since about week 1. So haven't taken advantage of promoting those big plays, but I do have a bet that's warranted for a 5% play. That package will be up today. I couldn't put it up early because everybody would be crying, what's the 5%? What's the 5%? Sometimes timing on when to place the bet is as important as what bet you're placing. So that'll be in there today with that Saturday college football package. So you're ready to go for tomorrow.
That Missouri action is really curious. That's a lot. I mean, those are a lot of numbers that got gobbled up. Do you have any idea what they're seeing?
No, that's what I was looking at. Are there a bunch of key injuries? I'm not seeing that. Like, I'm not seeing where it like there's not that cluster injuries where you're like, okay, they got 2 key wide receivers and a running back out. They have no skill position players. Who are they going to throw the ball to? Who is it going to run? It's not like that. And like I said, even my power ratings show that Oklahoma is now the right side at -6.5. That's one of those games. Listen, if you got +9, 8.5, 8, you placed a good bet. You can't really, argue with it. Now where it sits, I do think it's probably Oklahoma or pass. I couldn't take Mizzou now at 6.5. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. And anyone that argues, I just need to share this real quickly. Anyone in 2025 that still argues with you about closing line value, just ask them, why are the major books given promotions that are only geared towards the final hour, final 2 hours, final day of betting? In fact, I saw a big book that a lot of recreational bettors bet at, and they are doing NFL on Sunday, I think like 2 or 3 hours before kickoff at -102 odds. Here's the difference between -102 and -110. At -102, you only have to hit about 50.5% to break even. At -110, you have to hit 52.4%. So they're giving you a 2% break on what your break even is because they don't think an hour before, 2 hours before, 3 hours before kickoff that the NFL is beatable. If anybody argues with you in 2025, CLV doesn't matter, tell that to these billion-dollar corporations that are taking advantage of CLV and their bettors.
Looking at my DraftKings right now. Let's see what they're offering. Mystery Friday offer.
So you don't even know what you're getting. You're just going to get something good. As long as you're losing to us, we're going to give you something.
Mystery. It's on the front page. NBA Mystery Friday offer.
Wow.
Oh, all right, let's move on. I'll pass. Thank you, DraftKings. Let's take a look at NFL. Looks like biggest move is probably Detroit here. Open at 9.5. You're seeing 13s pop up. What else are you seeing in NFL?
Yeah, some solid games in the NFL as well. Here's the thing about the Detroit that it looks like off that look ahead that Detroit got money, but I saw at 11.5 the Giants getting picked off. That's interesting to me because the public's going to come in heavy on Detroit. So there's no reason to have to get down on the dog in that game early. Kind of the same thing in that like Seattle versus Tennessee. They knew the public's going to jump on Seattle. So what did they do? They got out ahead and laid the -12, 12.5 on Seattle. Now, if they're able to get 14 come Sunday, rest assured that's what's going to happen. So here's what I'm seeing so far already in NFL. 243 Jets plus 14.5 and plus 14. 245 Giants, like I talked about. That was at plus 11.5, though. 247 New England, one of the most one-sided teams this week. Wise guys got out ahead. They laid the 4.5 and 5. Since then, the public's been driving that line up. One of the more one-sided bets, like Buffalo yesterday. Seeing a lot of New England against Cincinnati. 249 Seattle against Tennessee. We touched on that. They got out ahead of the public, but they bet the under as well. Usually you think a minus 12, 13 double-digit spread is correlated to the over, and a lot of sports books won't even let you parlay it. In fact, a lot of those college football games that have those big spreads and low totals, they won't let you parlay it because it's correlated. If a team covers minus 30 and the total's 41.5, it's highly probable that it's going to go over. And when it's correlated like that, they won't even let you parlay it. Here they're going opposite of the correlation. They're going under 42, under 41, under 40.5 after laying double digits on Seattle. New Orleans, because of the situation in Atlanta, be careful because that's an injury move that's now been factored into the price. That's why you saw take back. So New Orleans got bet early. They got bet as a dog at the look ahead. They got bet at pick 'em when the line opened. But at 2.5 and 2, I saw Atlanta money, which makes sense. I thought they'd wait till 3, but that didn't happen. And why? Because it's the Saints. In what world should the Saints be road favorites or favorites anyway? But it's the Penix situation. And finally, no team finer than the 49ers. They laid the 5.5. They laid the 6.5. And they are going over 45.5, over 46.5, 47.5, 48.5. So they really like that over in San Francisco. And they also took the Raiders, the LV Raiders -3. And finally, Arizona, opposite one of the more one-sided bets, Jacksonville. They took the 3s with Arizona. Wow, we gave a lot of information today for football. You guys are good to go.
Did you just drop a nobody's finer than the 49ers?
You like?
I caught that. Hey, you weren't going to slide that by me. Very, very smooth.
Had to get that in there.
Yeah. So I just
you don't miss a thing. You do pay attention. Most just wait for their turn to talk in shows. I noticed that when I'm doing shows, because they don't even know what I just said. Like a lot of times I'll be sitting next to the co-host and they'll just like bring up something. It's like, wait, didn't I just spend 8 minutes explaining that? But everyone kind of just waits for their turn to talk. But my man pays attention. I love it.
I just want to point out in the Saints game that if you have a bet going, you're either wagering on Kirk Cousins or the New Orleans Saints, and that is one of the most terrifying phrases I've used all week. That is absolutely scary. That's scary. Let's move to basketball here. Are you seeing anything in college basketball? You see anything in NBA? We can start with college basketball. I know it's early in the day, but anything that we can kind of pay attention to?
Basketball real fast. Here, the early game. This one goes early. Sharp money on Butler. Public on South Carolina. That's one of those, if you're a fade the public guy, want to lay the points with Butler, that's an early game. Also, BYU, sharp money, 3.5 and 4 on BYU. Public's opposite. They're taking Wisconsin. They're betting Wisconsin. Like that's one of the more heavily one-sided bets, especially early in the day. A lot of Wisconsin money line action, parlayed the later games. So they think Wisconsin should not be a dog to BYU. Those usually stick out. Virginia against Northwestern, that line got away from us. Virginia's now up, through that key 2.5, 3 that's in basketball. But another sharp side that you're seeing the public opposite. They're taking Northwestern. So the public's on South Carolina, Wisconsin, and Northwestern. And yet you have wise guys opposite that. And the same thing later. Florida State got steamed on the overnights and then again this morning, and yet the Georgia State, Southern, whatever, they're getting the public money now up over 17, 18. And finally, where was that last one? Oh, another one, Coastal Carolina, where the public's Western Illinois. So this is a weird day, man, where I'm seeing pretty much most of the steam on college basketball is opposite what the public's on. Now, again, I've lowered my volume a lot, but in the steam sheet that went off yesterday, a lot of these moves that have been confirmed will be in there. So those guys that are handicapping, you want to check that out. There'll be a lot of college basketball that's already in there, some Saturday college football or Sunday NFL that we got out ahead. So you guys that handicap, you want to make sure you check that out if you're, following line moves and stuff like that. And at NBA real quickly, let me see what sticks out. Where were we? Oh, Cavaliers. Cavaliers got steamed. Another one opposite of what the public, they're taking Indiana with all those points. Now, Nets. Public's on the Nets. That's opposite. Sharp money on the Celtics. And then where was it? Oh, where was that? Thunder, Oklahoma City, minus 14 and a half, 15, 16, 16 and a half. Public's on the Jazz, but the wise guys are on the Thunder. It's going to be funny when the dust settles tonight, who wins, whether the Sharps come out ahead or the public comes out ahead going into Saturday.
Yeah. God, that's a real tough one. It's amazing how good this Thunder team is. I mean, they're just casually laying 17 points like every single game. So.
Yeah.
Let's go to UFC real quick before I let you go. It's Football Friday. We had the Gaziev gets a new opponent, Acosta, and I'm seeing money come in on Gaziev, which I agree with. This fight stinks to me. This just reeks of something wonky going on. I don't see any massive line moves. Any new information for UFC before?
No, I agree with you. As a dog, I like Gaziev. You're right.
Yeah.
Listen, I get it. Acosta didn't go no damage or anything. His fight was quick. He was in shape. But dude, you're turning around in less than 2 weeks. The edge has to be great on the Gaziev side. That's just the bottom line. And getting him at a dog, I don't think he's any worse than a coin flip. I like that side. We talked about Loader. We both gave Loader. I want to know your opinion before we're off on Horiguchi and Ulanbekov. I thought that the favorite, I lean the favorite, but I'm seeing a lot of sharps on the Horiguchi side saying he should have never left the UFC. His only loss in the UFC was against Mighty Mouse during Mighty Mouse's run. And, Rising and where he was fighting are elite and stuff like that. So he's a live dog. What do you think?
Yeah, he is a live dog. Tajir is just a master at winning rounds. They're not spectacular, but he just
controls.
Like, a minute left, he gets a takedown, wins the round. So his rounds are close, and you're in that area of the world where they like grappling and wrestling. I think Horiguchi's in a tough spot. He's going to be all gas, no brakes. He's going to push the issue. It's dog or pass on that one, but the over 2. I mean, Gianni, they're telling you what's going to happen. Over 2.5 is minus 300. It's a Tajir fight, so it's probably going the distance. I would say dog or pass, but I think there's better betting opportunities. But I'm not getting in front of Tajir. He just knows how to eke out those rounds.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I like too.
Yeah. All right, Gianni. Great Football Friday. What do you have up for everybody? It's a huge weekend. What do you have up for everybody?
I have the college football pass tonight already. 2-4% on those primetime games. I have my college basketball package up again. I combine college basketball and NBA because I'm only putting the 4% in there, the strongest. Won yesterday's package, won the package the day before. I really like what it took 7 years to figure it out. Me and Johnny were laughing yesterday, but I think we got the solution to get all this stuff out there and not destroy, the premium stuff with too much volume. Saturday's college football will be up within the next 60 to 90 minutes. NFL Sunday's already up and available. UFC's already up with 4 plays. Huge weekend ahead. Let's do some damage. Best of luck to all you guys. And again, thanks for your support.
Thanks, Gianni. Appreciate it. Great week of segments. Good luck. Let's have a big weekend. So, all right, we are going to bring in Teddy Covers. A couple things in the chat. But first, guys, nice winner for us last night in the NFL. Sweep the board in NBA. We lost our NHL, but we'll take a 3-1 night every single day of the week, and we're back at it today. NBA best bets are up. We got a couple of props that are up, and I'm going to do some research once we get some more information on some of the injuries. But NBA prop pack is up. Our Sunday NFL props pack is up. There's one play in there now, and plays are going to come out today, tomorrow, Sunday, all the way up until kickoff on Sunday. So you want to grab that. And then we have our boxing best bet. We talked about boxing last week, and we're doing half price again. So we know it's a huge week of sports. So Johnny and them are letting us do half price on boxing. That play goes off tomorrow. But really, NBA and NFL props, that's where it's at. That's where we build bankrolls. We're at 58% in the NBA, and we continue hitting 58% of our bets for the rest of the season. We're going to be in beautiful shape. So go grab that, wt.buzz/AL, and you can still get 7 days of our NBA and NHL props, both of them included. So 7 days. Again, get one pack, that's fine. Really encourage everyone to get a package, 7 days of those plays, so you can see what we can do for your bankroll in the props market. All right. Somebody says in the chat, Andy, you have low eyes, and I didn't know what low eyes is. Apparently, low eyes is like if you're high. I am not, guys. Andy with the low eyes. So it has been raining and cold nonstop here. My allergies are up, and I freaking hate it when my eyes swell up. I literally have an ice pack here, trying to ice my eyes down so I don't look high. And if I was high, that would be one thing, and I get really, really mad that I'm not high, and I get accused of it. But no, I am not high. If I did smoke anything this morning, I would be in bed asleep, and nobody would be hosting this show. So, but yes, thank you. I didn't know what low eyes was. Let's bring in Teddy. Hopefully his eyes aren't low. Uh, Teddy, you eyes low this morning? Drinking and smoking pot all morning? Are you feeling good?
It's a little bit early in the day. What's it, 9 a.m. here on the left coast? And sure, it's not like I've never waked and baked in my life. I have, but on a football Friday, I've never waked and baked on a football Friday, and I'm not going to start today. So appreciate the comments. And of course, I was reading they were saying that I get mad at anything, that I'm always mad. No, that was just with Prez. Prez makes me crazy more than anybody. Normally I'm maybe I'm a grumpy old man, but I'm not crazy grumpy. But Prez makes me crazy grumpy. It's just he's just one of those guys. When I see him, I'm already on edge.
I waked and baked once, and I will never forget it. They were like, "You want to wake and bake?" I was like, "Yeah, I've never done that before." I was asleep within 5 minutes.
That's just it. It's a short day. Wake and bake makes for you wake up, you hang out, and then I'm passed out. Yeah, sure. It's not anything we do during season. In the middle of summer, maybe get away.
No, not on football Fridays. No way. I want to get to college football and NFL, but last week we talked about the Thunder. I'm having so much fun watching the Thunder and the Denver Nuggets this season. I just think they're so fun. I think they're so entertaining, and now you have the Houston Rockets. Wondering if, what do you think of these three teams? I don't remember a three-team race in the Western Conference like this. I think they're all three amazing, and I love watching them.
And right now they're 1, 2, 3 in my power ratings, full league. Nobody in the East is there yet. And again, we'll see what Cleveland looks like or New York looks like as the season progresses. But right now, the best three teams in the NBA are all in the Western Conference, and none of them are the Lakers. The Lakers, you make an argument the Lakers are fourth with LeBron back in the lineup. So we say right now maybe the four best teams in the NBA are all in the West. So for what it's worth, but entertaining basketball.
Yeah, they're great. NBA is having a resurgence. I love the coverage that NBC and Amazon is doing. You watch the games, and all they do is talk X's and O's. There's no hot takes. I think they're doing a fantastic job. Teddy's always in his prime. Teddy's always in his prime. I always tell people, Teddy, I wouldn't be in this business if it wasn't for you. I listened to you on a podcast, and I was like, all right, I like that guy. I want to follow that path. So always appreciate you. Let's go to
curse
college.
me. You'll be cursing me in about 10 years or so, but for now, it's fine.
I didn't say I was staying in the industry, but I say you got me in the industry. Let's talk college football here. Let's go to USC, Oregon. Really entertaining game. This one should be fun. How do you break this one down?
Sure. So we're talking 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time on CBS this Saturday. Oregon, USC, top 25 showdown. Oregon 9-1, USC 8-2. They're both 6-1 in the Big Ten. Dante Moore, I should say, still getting love in the Heisman race. He's averaged 8.6 yards per pass, have a 21-5 touchdown to interception ratio. But something really stands out. At least it did to me when I started looking at the Oregon Ducks full season schedule. And at this time of year, that's what we're doing. It's not about what you did last week. It's what have you done this year? Let's just go through the Ducks schedule real quick in the Big Ten. Well, any major conference team. They played Oklahoma State, weakest team in the Big 12. Northwestern, Oregon State. Yeah, they're having a banner season. Rutgers, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State in overtime. The competitive games, well, Iowa 18-16, and they lost at home to Indiana. But when you go through that list of opponents, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Rutgers, Penn State, Oregon State, Northwestern, Oklahoma State. That's a weak slate, man, for being in mid-November. That's a really weak slate. And the two games where they had to step up in class even a little bit, Indiana, lose outright. Iowa scored 18 points and were lucky to win that game. So my gut reaction is not to lay double digits with the Oregon Ducks. So can we take USC in this ball game? Heck yeah, we can. The thing that USC, Jaden Mayava's had a really good year at the QB position. But as much as Mayava, it's the skill position talent around him. You've got Lemon, who's been a monster this season. Mekhi Lemon has been as good as any receiver in the conference. And then you have Jacoby Lane, and then you have the tight ends, Lay McCree and Walker Lyons. This is an offense that I believe can trade points with Oregon. And defensively, look, USC's biggest issue in big games for the last decade plus has been on the defense side of the football. And that's the question here, is can that defense contain the Ducks enough to keep this game close? But given Oregon's track record or lack thereof, I can only take USC plus the points in here. I'm not a Ducks believer when it comes to laying double digits with this squad against quality foes.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. It's really interesting to bring up that schedule. RJ in the chat, he says, yeah, it's Big Ten BS schedules. I'm just looking at RJ. I'm just looking at LSU schedule. That tough Southeastern Louisiana game that you guys had, that tough Louisiana Tech game that LSU had. But yes, I understand what you're saying about the scheduling. So, Teddy, let's go to NFL. Colts Chiefs. Let's go. The ramifications of this game, it looked like a pretty good game before the season started, but walk us through this game. What happens if either team wins or loses? This is the big one for me, like in the playoff race here in the AFC. What do you make of this game?
So looking at my Odds Logic live odds screen right now, we have a split line. There's Kansas City minus, and 3.5 is really the prevailing number right now, but there's 3 with juice for the Chiefs. So if you like Indy, you want to take plus 3.5. If you like Kansas City, you want to lay -3. And of course, that's one of the big advantages of the Odds Logic live odds screen, is you can see exactly what each individual book has at their shop at that moment. And say, all right, I'm going to bet this here, there, and bet that, bet that over here. So anyhow, Odds Logic screen showing us that there is a split line here. Total, mostly 50s, a little bit of juice to the under, 49.5 out there as well for Colts and Chiefs. And from a spot standpoint, Indy's 8-2. They're off a win versus the Jags in overtime in Berlin and a bye week. In theory, that's supposed to be a good spot. I'm not convinced that's the case. I like teams going into their bye week off a loss, not off a win. I like teams going to the bye week not sitting at 8-2 and feeling like they're in position to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. Indy's not the best team in the AFC. And we talk about impact injuries. In my mind, DeForest Buckner is as impact and injury as you're going to find in the league. That's not reflected in the point spread. Buckner has been a monster for Indy on defense. Their strength this season has all been about their dominance in the trenches on both sides of the football. Buckner got hurt. Colts defense has not been the same since. And that, to me, that is something of a problem. Now, they should be getting Charvarius Ward back at cornerback this week, but they look like they're getting Kenny Moore back this week, and that's a problem when you're talking about Kansas City with some urgency. There's nothing fraudulent about the Chiefs being 5-5. Denver outgained them by more than a half yard per play last week. The Broncos had 147 penalty yards. The Broncos went 1 of 5 in the red zone, and KC still couldn't beat them. And, of course, last year they won every close game, 12-0 in one-score games. This year, 0-5 in one-score games. And when you don't have that confidence of, yeah, we've been doing this over and over again, it's not necessarily easy to pick up that confidence here in mid-November, even with Patrick Mahomes behind center. That being said, every quote out of Kansas City that I've seen this week is urgency now, urgency now. Those are the type of quotes I would rather pay attention to than ignore. Am I thrilled about laying 3.5 with KC? No. Would I lay 3? That's the only way I can look at this one. Chiefs or pass for this better.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think the Chiefs could potentially be 5-6.
Of course they. I mean,
unbelievable.
Even, so Kansas City won 9 straight division titles. All right. And when you do that, there's always a hiccup season. The Patriots had hiccup seasons throughout the Tom Brady era. It wasn't like they were in the Super Bowl every single year, in the conference championship game every single year. And this could well be that for KC. This is not a client play for me. It's not going to be a client play for me because that's how little I trust the Chiefs right now. But if I had to play it, I could only look at the Kansas City side. But they lose here. They're 5-6, and maybe we start to say, let's start fading.
Yeah.
There's urgency. The question is, are they good enough?
The Browns are just a hiccup. They don't have hiccup seasons. They're just a hiccup franchise. So, all right. It's time for Sell Me, and we got something special to announce to everybody. All right. So, Teddy, here's the special announcement.
Announced to me.
It is news. So I called Johnny to ask him if this was okay. Johnny made the mistake of not calling me back, so we're just going to do it. So we're going to do Sell Me. And in the comment section after the show, type the name Andy or Teddy, which side you think is right, and put your WagerTalk username. And whoever wins, we're going to go in and we're going to pick a winner and they get a free 3-day pass. How's that?
Sweet.
So we're going to make this interesting. We're going to make this interesting for the people. So let's bring in Dan. We're going to do Sell Me. So Dan, first off, explain the segment and also show. Let's explain this very easy for people to understand.
Yes,
how they
we'll break it down, and Andy, you'll show those usernames and how they should do it. One thing I want to say before we transition fully into Sell Me is, as an Eagles fan, I saw many of Andy Reid teams at around 500 or below 500. If Andy Reid still has some juice, that's when he's at his best. 500 or lower Andy Reid teams, 74-49 straight up. 80-47-1 against the spread. So nearly double the amount of wins and covers when his teams are at 500 or below. How do you get such a sample size? You're the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how. All right, guys, Sell Me time. And what we do, if you never watched this segment before, I choose a side or 2 sides, and these guys have to sell us on the spread of which team will cover the game. So these guys, they're not sure which games. I give them a little list of what it might be so that they can prepare, and they don't know which side they're going to break down. So the new little wrinkle that we're going to do is after the show goes live, not in the chat right now, after the show goes live, comment below whether you think Andy is correct or Teddy is correct. And also share your WagerTalk username. So you write it just like this. I think Teddy's right. Then you write Titan CT or whatever your WagerTalk username is. Or if you like the San Antonio Panthers and Andy, you comment below with your username. So now you know the rules. And what do you get? If your guy wins, who you back wins, we're randomly going to select one of the people who chose them for a free 3-day pass. That easy. All you do is comment below, WagerTalk username, who you think is going to cover. And here we go. Gentlemen, I think this one's actually a little intriguing. Who would have thought that late November, we're talking about the Steelers and the Bears as an intriguing, division leading type matchup here. And we got, we'll grade this one at 2.5. It's pretty much, it's painted 2.5. Total is 45.5. And I was looking at the injury report. Aaron Rodgers was limited yesterday. Does he play? I haven't seen him officially be ruled out. So, Teddy, you're the one that gets the question mark at quarterback. I always do it to Andy. So you get the quarterback question mark of the Pittsburgh Steelers as the road dog. And Andy, you let us know why Chicago is going to cover. But Teddy, you're up first. Pittsburgh Steelers, sell me on this side.
So from a power rating perspective, the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph is maybe a half a point at the most. You can argue that it's worth nothing. So I'm comfortable with Pittsburgh, regardless of whether it's Rudolph, who's been a starter in this league before for multiple seasons, or Rodgers. Doesn't matter who's at QB. What does matter is that we got Pittsburgh coming off a loss, Chicago coming off another division win. And we think about Chicago this season. I understand they've been remarkable at finding ways to win close games, at finding ways to steal games in the fourth quarter. But it's not say it's all about turnovers, but it's been a lot about turnovers. And when you have the best turnover differential in the league, when you created more takeaways than any other team in the league, those are not necessarily things that translate from one week to the next, from one game to the next. Therefore, look, power rating standpoint, these two teams are basically even. Catching 2.5, I'm all ears with the Steelers. Pittsburgh plus the point, steel curtain time. Andy?
And if it is Mason Rudolph, as Marco has pointed out many a times on Bet On It here on the channel, around the holidays with a name like Rudolph, that could be part of the handicap. That's all I'm saying, Andy. So you're fighting against that Rudolph with his nose so red. You're taking Caleb Williams, 2.5 point favorites. What do we think?
It's not even December. It's not even Thanksgiving.
Hey, but you're prepping already. Reference? You're prepping already. You think Rudolph sleeps? Rudolph never sleeps.
All right. Well, I will take the Bears to beat the stuffing out of the Steelers here
well done.
this week. Listen, this Bears team started off 0-2, and they put it together. New coach is starting to figure it out. Caleb Williams playing much better. Their only loss since that 0-2 start is at the Ravens. They've benefited from an easy schedule. Is this really a tough game? You're facing an either injured old Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph. I just like what this Bears team is doing. I like their coach. Have you seen the coach in his post-game talks where he's like, I don't care how we win. It's all about winning. This is what we do. We're not apologizing for winning. Yeah, the Steelers team is completely fraudulent. DK Metcalf is upset. He's old. Jalen Warren is banged up. Steel curtain, I'm just not buying into the defense. And this is a home game for the Bears. Their last few home games, nice win against the Giants, nice win against the Saints, nice win against the Cowboys. I'm in on this Bears team. This is a Bears team that is 7-3, and I put this Bears team in the same category as the Patriots, where sometimes you just have those really lucky years where the schedule falls your way, you win some of the close games. Teddy brought up a good point about the Chiefs. Hey, this is like a hiccup season. This is the opposite of the hiccup season for the Patriots and the Bears. I'm not gonna get out of the way of this Bears team. They win, they cover. I'm completely out on the Steelers right now.
All right, so you heard the pleas, everyone, for the side. So do you think Teddy and the Pittsburgh Steelers cover, or do you think Andy and the Chicago Bears cover? Comment below after the video goes live, Andy and your WagerTalk username, or do you think Teddy is going to be covering? Comment below Teddy with your WagerTalk username, and you're automatically entered in. If your guy wins, your side covers, you're going to be getting a potential 3-day free pass here from a handicapper. So good stuff, gentlemen. Well done. I like the new wrinkle. I'm excited to see. We're going to have lines in the sand now in the comments. I'm excited to see. And now I don't have to be the one to decide.
Johnny doesn't call me back. We're giving away free stuff, Teddy. Tell everyone what you have up for everyone at Wager Talk. Huge weekend.
Sure. I mean, this is the time of year where you want all access. We got all access. A great deal for the rest of the football season. If you want to get on board, we got the Weekend Warrior packages, $49 for football or hoops or both. Visit my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. And of course, always follow me on X at Teddy_covers.
Teddy covers, huge part of Football Friday. Thank you so much, Teddy. Have a big weekend. Go check him out at wagertalk.com. Let's bring in Marco. We got to break down some games, and after Marco, we're going to do some free plays, and then we're going to break down our pick five. Marco, I really wish people had a chance to be in the green room here. One of my favorite things is just watching you waiting For us, Marco logs in early and we can see him, and he was just like stretching. And he sits. You sit with your arms folded like you're judging us on how good our segments are. It truly is.
Well, the arms were you giving stuff away. Do you remember what you tried to do last week? Okay, at least this time you preference it. We'll pull one name. Okay, so Johnny didn't get back to you. That's fine. When I broke down Denver and Kansas City last week, you wanted to be funny and make a reference to the deli, and you said, if I nail the score, because I gave the score, you said free sandwiches for everybody. Do you remember what my score was? I predicted 23-20. The final score was 22-19.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. You almost gave away my entire deli last week. Okay, so yeah, I'm sitting back like, what the hell are you doing, Andy?
Listen. All you gotta do is call me back, and I'll stop giving stuff away. Don't call me back.
Just having fun with you.
No, this is great. This is great. All right, let's jump in. Eagles, Cowboys. Dan's Eagles. I don't know if you've watched the show, Marco. We've nicknamed the Eagles. They're now called the Philadelphia Tango and Cashes, named after a movie that's terrible but really fun to watch. And that's kind of what the Eagles are. They're just not very good, except they just keep winning. 3.5 line is curious to me. Over under 47.5. Cannot wait for your breakdown. What do you think of this one?
Well, first of all, Philadelphia is the 2025 version of the 2024 version of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a team, that 7 of their 8 wins have been by 7 points or less. Didn't we talk about that all last year with Kansas City, how they just kept squeaking by? They got all the way to the Super Bowl. So that would make Dan happy. But if it follows suit, the ending in the Super Bowl wouldn't be so happy for Dan because Kansas City ended up getting blown out. I look at this one, and Philadelphia, last 2 games, they've scored 10 and 16 points. That's got to be a little bit of a concern if you're a Philadelphia Eagle fan. But in fairness, they did have to go 2 weeks ago to Green Bay, play at Lambeau Field, not a tough place or not an easy place to play. And then last Sunday night, I should say, playing against Detroit. Yeah, holding the Lions to the small total that they did, 9 points. But let's put everything in, it's a proper set. You had Dan Campbell just keep passing up on, kicking field goals and stuff on 4th downs. You had weather conditions. It was windy on Sunday night. And so it turned into a defensive game. I don't see that this time. And if you remember when these two played back in week 1, that was the Thursday night game, and total was about the same. And I remember it well because I had the over in that game. Score at halftime was 21-20. I'm like, oh, this thing's soaring over the total. I don't even have to watch the second half. And actually, I wasn't watching. I was checking on my phone because the WNBA was still running, and I was at Mandalay Bay watching the Aces. And then we had that long delay in that game, that weather delay, and it seemed like just to derail both teams. And they only scored 3 points in the second half. I think you're going to see a much different game this time. Yeah, let's not get excited about the new Dallas defense. Everybody on Monday Night Football, with their acquisition, look how much better they are. Did you see who they were playing? That was Geno Smith and the Raiders, okay? Yeah, any defense is going to look good. I think this is the breakout game for Philadelphia to score, but I don't trust them laying the points on the road because, as we know, Dallas can score points. So where am I going? I'm going over the total, guys. I think it's going to be a track meet on Sunday, and I'm going over 47.5 for the show.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was dying on the game against Geno Smith. Like, Geno Smith takes the ball and just holds it and holds it and holds it and holds it, and he gets sacked, and there's Collinsworth. Oh, look at Quinnen Williams getting pressure on the quarterback. I could have gotten pressure on the quarterback. What are you talking about? It was Marco, have you ever seen kneel downs at the end of a game? Like, I thought that was embarrassing. That was the most professional franchises kneeling down with almost 3 minutes left in the game. It was terrible.
If you remember earlier in the year when they got steam raced by Kansas City 31-0, Kansas City was taking knees with 3 minutes to go. They didn't want to embarrass them anymore. Andy Reid, out of respect to Pete Carroll. It's bad. It is really bad. And I don't know, I do radio here, and when we talk about the Raiders, why Pete Carroll is married to Geno Smith. At some point, he convinced him to come here there. And that's the problem when, you've got a coach and a quarterback. It's a bad situation here. But the options aren't great either. Your backup quarterback's Kenny Pickett.
Could it be worse? I don't know. I might take him for a test drive. All right, well, let's go to college football. Pitt, Georgia Tech. I just love this Georgia Tech team. Their quarterbacks, he's kind of a maniac. I can't believe that they keep running him the way that they do. His touchdown prop has been amazing. You know me, I'm a props guy. His touchdown prop's been incredible this season. They have this huge game coming up against Georgia where they beat Georgia. I mean, they're in. What do you make of this Georgia Tech team -2.5 against Pitt, over under 61? Big total this week.
Big total this week. I'm going to take you right through my thought process on this game because I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at this game a lot this week, and I have been back and forth on this game all week. I'll tell you where I settled at, and I'll tell you how I started out. Let's start with the line. You look at this Georgia Tech team. They're ranked, and they're playing an unranked Pitt Panther team, and they're only a 2.5-point home favorite. Georgia Tech is the only team this week in the ACC that actually controls their own destiny. They win Saturday, they are locked into the ACC championship game. Now, there's a lot of debate if this year an ACC team winning the conference is an automatic into the playoffs or not, because the ACC has not been deemed a strong conference. That's another debate for another day. But they do control their own destiny, and are only laying 2.5 points. Then you have, when I talked about it last week when we broke down the Pitt Notre Dame game, Pat Narduzzi in his comments last week, prior to the Notre Dame game, he said, I don't care if Notre Dame beats us 103-10. The only thing that matters is the next 2 ACC games. So if you really buy into that, then, all right, this is what Pitt was working for. This is what Pitt was pointing to. They're going to show up. Then you look at Georgia Tech's game last week. They were a 16.5-point favorite, and they only won 36-34 against Boston College. What the hell's going on? Well, if you look at that game, and even though they had 2 weeks to prepare for that game, it was their first game after their first loss of the season. We always talk about that carryover effect. Did they come out flat? Did they have that hangover? But they found a way in the end to win the game. Wasn't pretty, but they got the win. I do like taking good teams that have a major scare, because that next week you've got a totally focused team. They're going to hit the practices. They're going to be in the film room. You're going to get 100% effort for sure. So that starts swaying me to the Georgia Tech side. Then I looked at the X's and O's guys, and I don't know how Pitt stops this running game of Georgia Tech. They've got a running game that just scary. And what's even more scary is then you look at the passing game. But Pitt has had problems this year against some good running teams. West Virginia ran for 174. Florida State ran for 170, and NC State ran for 161. And once the running game's going, it just sets up that passing game. Only one team has held Georgia Tech under 150 yards rushing this year. That was Clemson. And as I said, that passing game, 6 of 10 games this year, over 223 yards passing. But did you look at their last 3 games? 304, 408, and 371. That ended up putting me on Georgia Tech in this one. Being the Pitt Panther fan, I don't bet with my heart. I bet with my head, and it landed me on Georgia Tech.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Haynes King, last game was the only game this year he hasn't rushed for a touchdown, but he still rushed 15 times. Guy's 148 carries. He's a quarterback. That's my quarterback. Let's do. I can't wait for Sauce of the Week. I think it's becoming my favorite segment. And next week we're gonna do. We did Halloween candy. Next week we're gonna do your favorite Thanksgiving dish, and we're gonna compare that to a team. But let's do Sauce of the Week. Before we do Sauce of the Week, tell everyone what we have. We got Weekend Warrior that's still going on. We got a big weekend. Tell everyone what you have up.
Yeah, guys, we've got a special going at WagerTalk. And, of course, the Weekend Warrior is always a great way to go if you're looking at just football, college and pro. And, guys, we have been absolutely smoking 34-17 last 22 days with all of our plays up $4,400, a little over $4,400 in just 3 weeks. My 5% plays, we cashed another one last week with Seattle. Had to sweat a little bit, but we got there in the end. That's all that matters. And we're now 37-16 with those plays since February of 2024. We're going to have another one of those. The college 4% and 5% plays this year, 18-6 in college football. And I've got one going tonight, guys. So check that out over at WagerTalk. But if you want a long-term deal with football, you want to go through the Super Bowl, get all of the college plays, all of the NFL plays, all those 5% plays. Any capper at WagerTalk right now this week, you can get it for $379. That's the best way to go if you want to lock up all the football because, guys, you got Thanksgiving next week. You've got football from Thursday through Monday, nonstop action. Black Friday, you got all of those great rivalry games. And then, of course, once bowl season starts, man, it's like football every day. So jump on board a long term, save yourself some money, and continue the winning.
All right, Marco, sauce me. Let's do the sauce let's do the favorite wing sauce of the week. And what team, player, coach, who are we comparing it to?
Okay, well, I like to pick on people. So my target of my rant might be directed squarely at maybe the dumbest human being in sports. That's going to be Jamarr Chase. What in the world? It's stupid and disgusting enough to spit on another player. Jalen Ramsey of my Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday. But if that's not bad enough or dumb enough to stand in front of all of the post-game reporters and sit there and deny that you spit on Ramsey when you're playing in the National Football League, they've got as many cameras on the field as casinos here in Vegas have cameras in the casino. Okay, you're not getting away with anything. And then to sit there and just deny it, absolutely stupid. Okay, but you know what? I am the bigger man here. Okay, I am going to take the high road against Mr. Chase. And you know what? Bring Andy back in because I want to explain this to Andy. I'm taking a little bit of a side turn here. I'm going to give you my favorite restaurant because I'm going to buy Mr. Chase dinner. Okay, I'm going to give him my favorite chicken wing place from Pittsburgh and give him the wing sauce. But I'm going to go a step further. I'm even going to set him up with the perfect date for his magical evening. Okay. We're going to Quaker Steak and Lube. Okay. It's a wing chain here in Pittsburgh. All right. It originated here. I love their wings. And because Mr. Chase went to LSU, the wing sauce that we're going to order for him is going to be Quaker Steak and Lube's Louisiana Liquors. Okay. It's a spicy Cajun sauce with a little bit of barbecue, but he needs somebody to go to the restaurant with him on this date. And I thought about it, Andy, and I got the perfect date for him. They've got so much in common, okay? Because they both became famous for basically the same act. And I'm going to set him up with the Tua girl.
Oh, no.
So you know what?
Oh, God.
They both can just spit on that thing. I'm sorry. There it is. I think this is where I'm supposed to drop the mic and just leave. But
Marco. Should we have our meeting with human resources at 2:00 or 3:00 today? Marco, bring it out. All right,
you know what? Okay.
All right.
Hey,
so,
at least I'm buying the dinner, okay? I'm paying for the magical night.
so Jamarr Chase and the Hawk Tua girl are going to the Quaker State Loop. Oh my God, I didn't see that coming a mile away, Marco. That's your best weak sauce segment of the week. Spit on that thing. You feel me? All right, Marco. Well, now I definitely, Johnny's definitely going to call me. We're giving away stuff, and all right, Marco, that was fantastic. God damn, there's no segue to get
No
out
way
of
to
this
end
segment
out.
besides you're awesome and you make Football Fridays the absolute best. But if that doesn't earn a Weekend Warrior buy, I don't know what does. Like, come on, people. Listen, if you're gonna buy my stuff, don't go buy Marco, because that was the best. Absolutely incredible. Marco D'Angelo. Thank you so much, man. You make Football Fridays better. Thank you so much, Marco D'Angelo.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, Marco. Dan, you want to jump in for this? Jump in real quick.
Well done. That was well done.
I didn't see that coming.
The chat was bewildered. I just like Rob Maddock. Oh Lord.
I was bewildered too. I was like, I thought he was gonna take your guy from the Eagles, who spit on the player in week 1. But no, he goes for the Hawks.
Becoming an epidemic.
Absolutely. We have a bet here that we're gonna make it here in the chat here.
What do we
David
got?
says, well, David's gonna challenge me for a 3-day package. David, don't you
Jeez,
threaten
Johnny's
me with
really
a
going to
time.
be happy. We're giving away 3-day packages like crazy.
Yes.
You got to win this one, Andy, so he has to buy it.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. All right. I know what I'm going to do. Dan, let's do all around the world, and then let's bring you back on, and let's do our Pick 5 Super Contest. Let's give away some free plays, and David, I'll pick the game here. All right. Some free plays here. We're going to start with the NFL, Cardinals, Jags. Give me Jacoby Brissett over 247.5 passing. What more do we need to see? This Cardinals team just really can't run the ball. Brissett over in all starts this season. The Jags are 25th in pass defense. Jacoby Brissett over his passing. Here's under the radar. Tajay Spears over 2.5 reception. He's gone over in his last 5 games. Seahawks, 3rd worst in the league, giving up receptions to running backs. They give up 5.4 catches. It's a little bit juicy. You're looking at -140, -150, but I do love this Tajay Spears over his receptions. And then we're going to go tonight to the Pelicans and Mavericks. Zion, under 22.5 points. Keep in mind, guys, he played last game, but he is coming back from a hamstring injury. He didn't even play 30 minutes. He came in at 29 minutes. He only had 14 points, 13 shot attempts. Zion may go down as one of the biggest what-ifs. I called this from the very beginning. I thought his NBA career, sadly, was going to be a disaster, and it kind of has been. I just don't think he's going to get the minutes and the production here. This line is way overinflated. So I'll take Zion under 22.5 points as the free plays. So Dan, let's do the Pick 5, and I'm going to use one of my games for David.
Ooh.
So David, I'm going to take
head-to-head
the
with
Eagles. Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles -3.5, and I think Dan, you're against me on this. I went the Eagles -3.5.
Road chalk
so David,
with the birds. So what?
Yeah,
so David has the Cowboys?
David, you have the Cowboys +3.5.
you.
We're using the lines that were locked in on Wednesday from Bet Online. So David, you get Cowboys +3.5. I get Eagles -3.5. I will walk you through my picks here. There were 2 plays that I immediately said, yes, I want those plays. The first one was the Browns +4 at the Raiders. I don't care if Marco's the quarterback. The Raiders getting 4 points is ludicrous. Just ludicrous. This is a Browns defense. You don't think that Browns defense is going to have trouble slowing down that Raiders offense. Give me the Browns +4 and a little sprinkle on the money line against Geno Smith there. And then, are we still under the assumption that the Panthers are a terrible team, Dan? They're not. They're competent. I get a touchdown against a 49ers defense that is held together with duct tape and a prayer. This line is way, way too overinflated here for me. So the Browns and Panthers, I immediately wanted. So then I needed some help. Last night we were doing a live stream. A lot of people said the Colts +3.5. That half is what sells me on this one. I think this is a really close game. This could be a classic, like, 21-20 type of game where the Chiefs win but don't quite cover. I'm just not laying over a field goal with this Chiefs team. Patrick Mahomes is missing long passes. He's not hitting his receivers in stride. So I'll take the Colts here. The Bears -2.5 versus Steelers. That was funny because you gave me that one. I just don't buy the Steelers team. The quarterback situation is dire at best. And I want to be on the side of the good luck teams, like the Patriots, who get to play the Bengals without Jamarr Chase randomly getting suspended. And then this Eagles team, this 3.5 line, I think the books are telling us a story. All you hear from the media is how bad your team is, Dan, how much the locker room doesn't like Jalen Hurts, how unhappy A.J. Brown is, how Saquon Barkley sucks. And then the books are like, oh, they're going to go on the road and we're going to give him 3.5. Your team is good, man. Your defense is so freaking good. And I just, you know me, I'm not betting against Jalen Hurts. I'm just not doing it. I love your team. I love everything about them. They're the twinkle in my eye, Dan. I love your Eagles. So give me
the tango and cashes in your eye.
I love the tango. Yeah.
Andy, as I'll bring up my picks, and you can hear the breakdowns for these on our Let's Make Millions show. They're on YouTube right now, so you can just you can check that out right after the video is done. If you like what we do here, it would be a nice thanks for me and my partner Adam Rosenberg. These are our entries in to the Circa Million contest, and you see, Andy, we're going to blows on 2 of these games, and yes, you see the bottom pick there. I'm picking against my Philadelphia Eagles, or as I like calling them on the show. If you zoom into my shirt, this was generated by AI, Andy. So you see that little Wooder and Wawa. If you look in, it says full Adeptify Eagles because AI is great. So on the show, we call them the full Adeptify Eagles. So here's I get what you're saying, but also the line was 4.5 and then quickly became 3.5. I don't think they budge off a 3 because then it's just boatloads of money, coming in on the Eagles then. But 2017, Andy, 2017 is the last time that Dak Prescott lost a home divisional game. Not only just failed to cover, lost a home divisional game. He has owned the NFC East at home 21-2. And I know Eagles defense is great, but something that hasn't been great in the Nick Sirianni era is the Eagles going on the road to face divisional teams. It wasn't all that long ago. They lost to the New York Football Giants. Yes, that was a Thursday night game, but how about 2-5-1 against the number in the Eagles' last 8 divisional road games? Not a great stat you want to be bringing in when there's all this consternation in your locker room. You're missing Lane Johnson. So, David, don't worry. Dan and Adam, we are on your team. We are going with the Dallas Cowboys plus the 3.5. Any thoughts on that, Andy? Any thoughts on the worries for me about the Eagles? Because I agree with you. I feel like the get-right offensive spot is actually coming next week against the Bears. I think this is maybe the Eagles could use a little bit of a slap in the face, and Dallas is usually the team who does it to them.
First off, you having the perfect read on Jacksonville just continues to be the greatest story of the year.
We've bet against them, on them, against them, or flip-flop that.
The last 3 weeks in your picks.
Yeah. We had a great read on Jacksonville. I like Arizona outright on that one, Andy.
Listen, in all seriousness, we do this in UFC. We just have these reads on certain fighters, and we can pick when they're going to win, when they're going to lose, and you just ride it. You're right.
And that's the thing that and again, I'm throwing down the gauntlet, knock on wood or whatever, but 8-2 the Eagles are on this season. I'm 10-0 in picking on or against them against the spread. I have hit every single Eagles game correctly this year, and it's because I'm not a homer. Like I told people, I think on this show, they're going to lose outright to the Broncos. I told them on Thursday Night Football they were going to lose outright to the Giants. So, you can't be beholden to being a homer or thinking, oh, this team, I'm just going to keep riding them, whatever. That's why we've had such a good read on Jacksonville, is because we pay attention to them. They're a team that not everyone in the marketplace wants to be betting on or against. It's usually just a cross off the card. So it's a rare value spot. And Andy, I know we went a little bit long. So the only pushback that we'll talk is the other game that we're head to head on, and that's just Kansas City and Indianapolis. I talked to you earlier just about how I like Andy Reid when his team is around 500 or below 500. Does that play itself out when they're finally at 500? That's when I want to take the shot. And the Colts, they are off a bye, which should be a positive. However, the tough part for me is, when was the last time the Colts got to come out of a bye feeling good about their team? You know what I mean? When is the last time that they're sitting in the driver's seat comfortably and they're saying, oh my goodness, and now they're playing a team who needs it like blood? They also have a divisional game they're playing next week. Shane Steichen, 1-5 against the number the week before hosting a divisional opponent. So he's not great at these look-ahead spots, and you're playing a team who needs it bad. Last one, Andy, that I'll give in this one. What's your thoughts?
What was that BS stat? 1-5 the week before a division. What? Come on.
Divisional home games. Yeah, the week before a divisional home game. So
okay.
If you think about it, it's not that crazy if you think about it, because
it's insane. That's an insane stat.
You think divisional games don't matter more?
Home. You even added home.
Yeah, because you get to be home in your own bed. You get to, okay. And I'm not sure which divisional game it is. But I think there's credence to it.
Okay. All right. I just love the half. If it was -3,
and then the last time is the line leading the way, Andy. You can scoff at this one, but it goes back to 1990. Teams who are 500 or worse facing an opponent who's a winning opponent. So why are they favorites if they're a bad team? 14-0 straight up, 12-0-2 against the spread since 1990. So typically the odds makers are correct when they're saying this is a 500 or below team facing an 80% better win percentage. Works well. Let the line lead the way is the way that I looked at that one.
I love your Detroit spot. Mine was 13.5 on
because that was once Dart was announced out. These ones lock on Thursday, but you just
exactly
you bet it every time until it fails. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
3-2 card for the Eagles homer, and I bet the other one that he likes is probably the Indianapolis Colts because he hates the Chiefs. That's why he thinks it's 3. But I'll take 3-2. Can't lose going. You can't go broke going 3-2, Andy.
No way. So, all right, we just crossed 2,000 live viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We went long, but what a great football Friday. Thank you so much, guys. NBA props pack is up tonight, guys. Coming off a really nice win, easy win on Woody Marks over his rushing. That was our only play on Thursday Night Football. You can get our Sunday props pack now over at WagerTalk.com, and we have 2 UFC best bets that are up. We're 7-0. A 7-0 run in UFC. Let's make it 9-0 this weekend. And that card starts at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Thank you to all the guests, Gianni, Marco, Teddy. Incredible show. You guys in the chat, absolutely rocking. Remember, in the comments section below, type Andy or Teddy, which side you think is going to win in the Sell Me segment. Put your Wager Talk username, and whoever wins, Andy or Teddy, we're going to pick someone to get a free 3-day pass. And David, you and I are going head to head in Eagles and Cowboys. Thank you so much, guys. Good luck on your bets this weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Good luck. Take care.